Peptides are powerful and often misunderstood.
And we're here to change that, one conversation at a time.
I'm Dr. Kylie Burton.
And I'm Jessica Bricky.
This is Pep Talk, Peptides Unpacked, Science Made Simple, Results Made Real. You know when you hear something and it like stops you in your tracks? Well, the first time I heard it, MOTS-C, levels in the blood drop significantly with age, and that decline tracks almost perfectly with the metabolic changes people experience as they get older. Jess, can you tell me what the heck that means when signals fade with
Yeah,
MOTS-C?
yeah, it's a pretty big deal. It means a lot, actually. So MOTS-C is one of my favorites to talk about because this is not just putting something foreign, once again, like many of these other peptides into the body. It's a signal that your body already knows how to use, which is an important part to say again and again when it comes to peptides, that we're not just putting these weird man-made substances into our body. And we're just helping this particular peptide, like many of them, speak up again.
Okay, real talk. What the heck is MOTS-C? Break it down for me like I'm 5 years old.
Our favorite. Let's talk to the kindergarten crowd, right? That's what I need. So every cell in the body has a control center. And if we go back to like biology class, we're going to remember this. So I don't want to put anybody into like PTSD, a biology class when they were suffering through learning all the parts of a cell. But
Can
the
I just say
controls,
really fast, you know when you built those foam models of the cell? Do you remember? And then you have like all the organelles in there, like the Golgi apparatus, and then you stick in the mitochondria, and there's one mitochondria. Nobody tells you that that's wrong and how important mitochondria are.
yeah. Also, I just want to say again, I'll remind you that you were in diapers when I was already hands-on with people. So we didn't have these like fancy little
You
foam
didn't
balls
have
that
the
we could
foam
do.
balls.
I had to cut things out of like magazines and post it on a piece of paper and make a presentation, make it look like
That's
that.
that's probably true too.
Uh, well, those cells in the body, this control center is called the nucleus, if people don't remember that. And most peptides get their instructions on how to operate from that nucleus. And inside the cells, there's also this separate little powerhouse that you were just talking about called the mitochondria. So we're going to think of that as like the tiny little engine room that's been quietly running your energy the whole time you've been walking this planet. So MOTS-C is a peptide that comes from that engine room. It's not the main control center like the nucleus, but that's what's going to make it kind of one of its kind. So it is the engine basically in the cell.
If we were to think like a car engine, the
Hmm.
engine runs the car.
Hmm.
MOTS-C is the engine running the cell.
Pretty much giving it the instruction on how to operate, right? And
Yep.
giving it the zoom, right?
It's communicating in its own language.
Yeah. So MOTS-C is one of the messages that the engine room is going to send out. Specifically, it's activating in the body something called AMPK. So I don't want people to get like bogged down by these letters and names and science stuff, but I just want you to, you will hear other people talk about this. But I like to think of AMPK like it's the body's master on switch for energy. So when AMPK gets the signal, your cells start taking up glucose better. It starts burning fat more efficiently for energy and building new mitochondria. It's kind of a cascade of really good things that we need in order to function.
And your body does this on its own?
It does. When you exercise, yes. When you fast, it does, which we should be fasting during the night, right? Most of us go into a fast. Your body naturally ramps up MOTS-C when it needs to perform. So the issue is that when we age, these levels drop down and that signal gets quieter. We start to see it in how our metabolism shifts, how our muscles respond, how our energy feels. So a lot of us are just accepting of we're just getting older, but really some of these things that we're feeling is a signal that has been fading because we're getting older and not producing it as much.
You know, a lot of people will say in the functional medicine space that they heal the cells.
Hmm.
They're focusing on healing the cells. And if you're explaining MOTS-C to me correctly, MOTS-C is a requirement to heal the cells.
It is. It's a requirement to heal the cells. It's a requirement for the cells to function. All cells, because the mitochondria is everywhere, right?
Yes. Cells are the baseline of our entire existence.
It's what we are,
Everything is made up of cells.
just different kinds of them, but we are
Yeah.
a entire structure of cells. Right.
Okay, explain to me, who is this peptide actually for? Like, who should be paying attention right now besides everybody because we all have
Right.
cells?
Well, that's honestly
Specify it
right.
for me a little bit.
Basically everyone. Well, just kind of like how I feel about the GLP microdosing,
Like,
right?
dang, we got
Basically,
GLPs, we got to do TA1, BPC. All right, MOTS-C. They're just, you really want to feel better longer?
these
You
are the
have to
things
have these.
these are the
Maybe
things we
you
want,
cycle
right?
them, maybe, you figure out your cadence to it, but dang, these are so cool.
I know. Well, to all right, get serious for a moment. If you're dealing with blood sugar issues, if you're struggling with weight that's just not responding like it used to, if you're feeling like your metabolism slowed down and you really don't understand why, MOTS-C is really worth kind of understanding because it directly improves how your body handles glucose and burns fat. So if you are in the longevity space, this is really fascinating. So we're talking about muscle preservation, reduced inflammation, better physical capacity as you age. And research has shown improvements in physical function across all age groups, not just the older adults that are losing the signaling. So your mitochondria matters at every stage and age.
No, side note here, I was listening to somebody on something about their mitochondria. That's what the topic was. And they said, people who are coming in like my little kids, when they hit 18 or above, because really you don't want to use peptides before they're 18, correct? Am I
Yes,
understanding that rightly?
correct.
Once they hit 18, like they're going to have these peptides to be fueling their cells, fueling their mitochondria in a much different way than we've ever been able to. And
Hmm.
they hypothesized that they'd be able to live better longer, meaning live till like 150.
Hmm.
Where we think 70, 80, 90 is getting old. Now you're going to live double the timeline, feeling better than ever because you don't have the cell breaking down
Right.
like it does for us, because now these things are available, these things we call peptides.
There'll be people that'll say, I don't want to live that long. Okay, I get it. I know the world is crazy right now, but for as long as you are on this planet, let's live well. Let's be strong.
Yeah.
Let's feel good.
Yeah,
I
when
don't need
when
that.
you said like if you're in the longevity space, longevity means live better longer.
Right. Exactly.
And
Yeah.
you want to feel good no matter if you're 17, if you're 37, if you're 47, if you're 77, or if you're 107. You don't want to not experience life at every stage and
Yeah.
experience life in the best way. So, MOTS-C, cellular energy in the form of mitochondria and fueling your cellular engines, communicating everything effectively in your cellular engines. What about women going through menopause? Because I feel like that comes up a lot.
It does. And it's been specifically studied there. So menopause brings a wave of metabolic changes. Most of us that have started to experience it, whether it's through the natural aging process or through maybe some sort of surgical procedure they've had to have. A lot of the things that we see is things like insulin resistance, a weight shift, bone density changes, cardiovascular risk is there. But MOTS-C has been shown is showing to have some real promise in that context. So for women who can't or don't want to do hormone therapy, having another tool in this conversation is really going to matter here.
Oh, that's cool. If you're
Mm-hmm.
not wanting to do the HRT, or maybe you want to shift over to something new
Yep.
and give your body something new to think about and to
Yeah.
utilize. I keep coming back to what you said at the top so let's stay here for a second. Peptides are not foreign. I think that's what people are getting scared of. And then the whole term natural versus man-made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Explain this.
Okay, so the most important thing that I want people to walk away with is that your body isn't a stranger to these molecules. They're peptides, they're communicators. It's how your cells talk to each other. And they are really like the text messages of your biology. So MOTS-C is your mitochondria that's been sending you texts your whole life. What we're doing with pharmaceutical grade peptides under proper guidance is making sure that the message is still getting through clearly. That's all that's happening. But when we talk to your point about something foreign in our body and people hear the term synthetic, in theory, they're synthetic because these are made in a lab. However, they are made to match our own biology. So molecule for molecule, they are
Same
meant to be,
thing
they are the
as
same thing.
bioidentical hormones.
Correct. Insulin,
It's
which
no
people don't
different.
realize is a peptide and a hormone. It's both. But we have people whose lives depend on this synthetic version of insulin in their body. This is exactly the same thing. So we are matching something that our body would normally be making to help us with a whole bunch of different things. So not to be afraid, but just think of them as text messengers that are telling our body all the many jobs that it has to do. And if those signals are missing, if those texts are, sitting out there somewhere in the land of not communicating, not getting through, we're in trouble.
Yeah. You know, I immediately think about running a business and the constant like text messages we're constantly sending, whether it be between me and you or, me and our assistant, you have the same assistant as I do. If without that communication, without that was text, like that quick ability to just shoot off a little information, um, our businesses wouldn't run the way that they run.
Yes, it wouldn't be efficient. They
Our
wouldn't be quick. They
bodies
wouldn't be
don't run
healthy.
the way that they run
Hmm.
or efficiently or the way we want them to run without the text messages communicating. And that's what peptides are. They're your text messages communicating, hey, cells, speed up your metabolism so you can lose weight. Hey, thyroid, maybe you should warm my body up because I should be, it shouldn't be cold right now. These are the messaging systems behind all of the other chemical reactions that are taking place.
Right. Exactly.
Text messages of your biology needs to go on a shirt
Yeah, I love that. I think it
or
should.
a hat.
Well, if today's conversation it sparked something for you, if you're curious about peptides, if you want them for your metabolism, your energy, longevity, you want to live longer, better, maybe you just want to have a better understanding of them, that is what Kylie and I do. I love having these conversations. I spend a ton of time learning about peptides so I can teach them to other people and also making sure that people have safe, responsible access to getting them. So if you want to find me, you can find me on Instagram, jessb.talkshealth, or you can come and find me to get started on your journey, b2b with jess.com/peptides, where here you're going to find resources, education, and other safe sources.
My passion is really understanding and helping people to understand the science, not just behind peptides, but how to understand the science between your blood work and solving those blood work concerns with peptides. So you can go grab your mini blood work and peptide guide at drkylieburton.com. You can also get started using your peptides at drkylieburton.com. And if you would like to implement this into your own practice or start a business with the peptides, you can learn and find more about that at drkylieburton.com. Take a big deep breath because the more I learn about peptides, the more I'm like, I just want to try them all.
I want them all
So
too.
right now I'm on BPC 157 and methylene blue. I think the next one, I think I'm going to try MOTS-C, but I hope it's not an injection. I hope there's a option for it. Okay, I'll suck
Maybe
it up
this
and get it
maybe
at
this
some
is the
point.
one where you get brave and you try an injection.
Yes, maybe. If you are like me and just want to try them all, we'll start with one thing, pick it, move forward, and then we can transition through them all. If you're like Jess and want to have a specific goal, she started with GLP-1s. I did BPC 157. You can't go wrong with whatever you're going to start trying. Just pull the trigger, go do the thing. If you're on something and you want to switch over, we highly recommend you do that too. And we welcome everybody. We welcome all you peptide lovers. We welcome all you peptide fence sitters, and we welcome all you peptide naysayers because we were going to convince you that when peptides are done right, they are powerful. This is Pep Talk, Peptides Unpacked.